are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espinlove Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. It is so good to hear them cheers again. Thank you. We have standing room only here at the Funny Farm Radio Studio, and everybody, including me, is so glad to be back. When we see that on-air light up, does that make sense? When we see the on-air light up, we get that warm and fuzzy feeling deep inside. You are listening to the George Espinlove Show, and to all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, we want you to sit back and enjoy yourself. We have another exciting guest tonight, but before we go any further, first of all, I want to say thank you to Charlie for a job well done. Here it is, the beginning of a new year, and Charlie is right back up there at the announcer's mic, and he's giving it all he can give it. Thank you, Charlie. That's right, take a bow. You deserve it, my friend. Excuse me. This is the cheeringest bunch of people that you've ever seen in your entire life. Thank you. Charlie thanks you. I thank you. Miss Ernestine thanks you. Harvey thanks you. My mom thanks you. Everyone here at the Funny Farm thanks you. Before we go any further, let me say this. Last night when we had our guest on, Jason Dowd, who is the publicist for C.P. Kelly, whom we had on here before Christmas. C.P. Kelly, in case you didn't hear the program, you can go back and get it, is fighting a disease that is a cousin to MS. He is battling it. He has a dream. He has cut his first single. He cut it last month, and he is in the process of doing an album. With all of the problems that this man has faced, he is still reaching out to fulfill his dream. If you will go to his website, cpkelly.com, that's Kelly, K-E-L-L-E-Y, cpkelly.com. Scroll down there and you will see a place that talks about his fundraising campaign. Click on it. It'll flip you over there and then give you another link that will take you to the Kickstarter program. Now, he needs somewhere around $800. We have 25 days to go. At the end of this radio show tonight, my wife and I will be donating to C.P. Kelly that he might fulfill his dream and complete his album. Listen to me. They're asking for $800. And how this Kickstarting program works is simply like this. If the $800 isn't reached, then no one takes any amount of money out of anyone's account. So he either raises the $800 or more, or he ends up with zero. 25 days to go to raise at least $800. That'll put him back in the studio for the musicians, the bands, any other thing that might be needed to complete this album. Let's take him over the top. My wife and I are going to donate immediately tonight after this radio show. Please, and I don't generally do this, you know that, please go to cpkelly.com, Kelley. Follow the link and go to the Kickstarter fund, and let's help CP Kelly complete his dream. Right now, with his medication, the doctor's prognosis is everything's A-OK. Let's help him reach his dream of at least $800. Will you do that for me? I sure would appreciate it, and I know CP Kelly will appreciate it also. We have with us, and I'll be mentioning more on that later on tonight, we have with us all the way, let me get my doodads here, all the way from the great state of Utah, a lady that has written 2 books, and we're going to bring her on right about now. Ryan, I welcome you to the George Espinlove Show.
Well, thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Did you think I forgot you?
For maybe a minute or two. No, we're all good.
No, I haven't left anyone out there. I don't think I have. I might be having one of those senior moments one of these days, and you just never know. But as far as I know, I haven't got any reports back that said I left someone hanging out there.
Yeah, that could be bad.
But I sure do welcome you to the show, and I apologize for being down sick last week when we were supposed to have you, but I guess them things just happen, huh?
Oh, yeah. I wish we could schedule when we'd be sick. It would be a lot more convenient. But it doesn't usually work that way.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Of course, I'm a writer. My newest novel's Indivisible, and that's the one we've been talking a little bit about. But I've also written some other novels, and I'm a mother, have 5 children, and that definitely keeps me busy. But I love it. It's been awesome. So very busy with my kids, with my family. I love to bake, run. I'm an avid runner. And generally when I write, I love to do a lot of stuff of my research, on site as much as I can. So we do have a lot of hiking and exploring to really, get a feel for what's going into the books. And I love to take my family with me. Really fun to share those experiences with my kids and my husband.
So you have 5 kids, and you still have your sanity.
Most days. We'll say most days I still have my sanity. So we're good. I have 4 at home. One is actually in the Air Force, so I have the other 4 at home. But
when you see him, please give him our thanks for serving this great country.
I will. Yeah, it's actually my oldest is my daughter, and she's been in almost 2 years now. So
when you when I was reading some things about you, you said something about that your therapist says that you're normal, and I said to myself, you've got to ask this lady exactly what that means.
I've had a lot of people who've read some of my writing and stuff. They've asked me, what is wrong with you? What kind of issues do you have that you feel like you need to write about these things? And I'm like, really, I'm fine. I'm just fine, And one of my good friends is actually a licensed counselor, and she keeps telling me I'm normal and that she's certified to be able to tell me that. And so she thinks I'm just fine. So what I write about, is just because, it's just in my head, and it's the only way to get it out. But yeah, I've written stories about serial killers, and actually had one book out about a rape victim. So some of it's gone some interesting places, but she says I'm normal, so we're all good.
And trust me, in 64 years on this earth, I can honestly say no one has ever called me normal. But when people use that word normal, one day a long time ago, I thought, no, wait a minute, what is this normal thing that everybody's talking about? So I went to the dictionary,
Uh-huh.
and the dictionary just simply says it's a set standard. And I thought, okay, it's a set standard. And then I went a little bit further and it said it's a set standard that is set by a group of people or an individual. And I'm thinking, no, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
This dude over here that set this standard, I'm not so sure his bubble's in the middle either. So how do we know what normal really is? So when I saw that you said that, I just had to. Anytime I see that word normal, I've got to ask somebody,
Yeah.
which shows I'm abnormally normal or normally abnormal. One of the two.
Yeah, definitely one of the two, I would have to agree.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the two.
But yeah, I've had a few people a little concerned about me. I dream very vividly, really, really crazy vivid dreams, and that's where a lot of my writing comes from. And so a lot of people go, there's got to be something wrong with you, trying to figure out why you have these bad dreams. You try to figure out, what's going on. Is there some kind of issue? Are you sure you're normal? And yeah, I'm sure I am. I actually asked about it, and
I think it's ironic because last night we had a fellow on by the name of Jason Dowd, excuse me, who has written a book. He is multi-talented. He is a world-renowned photographer, and he's doing some new things with photography, but he's also a writer. He wrote a book called A Haunted Soul, and it's his story because he has similar things take place in his life with dreams and so on and so forth. So this is the second night in a row that we can get up on the edge of our seat because that's where we'll be by the time this is over with, and listen to some of this intriguing stuff. But before we get there, when did you first begin to start writing?
Yeah, I started when my kids were little. My son was 1 or 2 at the time, so probably about 15 years ago. And just woke up one day with this story in my head that wouldn't leave. It was driving me absolutely crazy. Never thought I would be a writer. I always wrote in high school, mostly poems, short stories, just little things. And when I was young, I used to illustrate and write my own books all the time, just, for fun. But I never thought it would be like a career thing for me. And anyway, I just had this story in my head that wouldn't go away, and I thought, okay, there's only one way to get this out. I just got to sit down and write it. So I started writing it. It was really, really bad. I would never want anybody to see that, first attempt. Not pretty, but it was a good learning experience. It taught me a lot, and it really engaged me creatively. I need that creative outlet, and I realized that I had been missing that. I just crave that creativity, that creative outlet. It's a part of who I am. And I realize now that I have to be writing or I have to be doing something creative or I just don't feel balanced. I don't feel complete.
That's when you're not normal.
Exactly.
I know. Yeah. I know the feeling. I do. I write also, and I found that it's not a. I found out a long time ago. It's not something that I can say. Well, I'll do it later, or this, that, those, and these. It's a must. It's a have to. It's almost as if something takes you and you've got to sit down and get out whatever is on the inside. Isn't that right?
Exactly. That's how it feels especially when I have something really strong, a really strong story come into my head. It's like propels me to write it down, and I can't rest at all until I get that out. And this last book, Indivisible, I went away for a week, left my husband here with the kids. He took care of me. It was awesome. And I went and just wrote for almost a solid week. I think I wrote, I don't know, 40,000 words or something while I was gone. And just almost night and day nonstop. And it was incredible. I've never been able to write like that, but it was so compelling and so, I don't even know how to describe it, but I had to get the story out. I had to get it on paper, and it was incredible to be able to do that.
Did you self-publish, or did it go through a publisher?
I self-published this one. I've had a publisher in the past, and decided that I wanted to take this one into my own hands and see what I could do with it.
Isn't that neat?
It is. It's really been a fun thing. I've seen a lot of other authors doing that too, and it just gives you so much more freedom with the book. I've really, really enjoyed that I've been able to do it this way.
Invisible, and that came out, what, August, September of this year, or
Right.
2012?
Yeah, just the very last of August.
And it can be found at Amazon.com. And the thing that I like, it's in Kindle format also.
Yes. So yeah, you can get a Kindle or it's paperback there. It's also in paperback on Barnes & Noble, but not ebook there yet. Should be ebook available for all devices, hopefully by next month. So.
Great. Indivisible. Give us kind of like a little overview of what Indivisible is and how it came to pass.
All right. So I'll start at the beginning. I woke up one day with just this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of having absolutely no individual freedom. Like I couldn't even think for myself. It was this dream that I had where it left me with more of a feeling than vivid imagery, but of having lived in a society where we weren't allowed to think for ourselves, didn't have any freedom. Pretty much anything that we did think came from an outside source. And just this very, very vivid feeling of being powerless. And it was very disturbing, and I thought, okay, I've got to write this down because there's something to this. There's something so nagging about this that I've got to get it out. And so I started writing kind of my plotting and everything, and it flowed so smoothly that within hours I had a complete novel outlined, which I normally don't do. And the whole novel from beginning to end, just about the very end, I had to really struggle over. But I was telling my husband about it, and I'm like, okay, so I wrote this story. It's about this girl. Her dad's murdered at the beginning of the book. And then she realizes that everything she's ever been taught her entire life has been a lie. The government's talking about how they have all this freedom, how they can do all these things, and really they're so limited in what they can do. They've been led to believe that they have freedom and they live in a utopian society when really every single thing they do is governed. Everything they think has been taught to them from such a young age that they don't know how to think for themselves. So I'm telling him this, and he's like, you realize you're writing a political book, right? And I'm like, no, because I don't like politics. And he says, no, it's really political, and I think it's a good thing what you're writing, which scared me because I'm not all that into politics. But I ended up just writing the entire story. And it is, this girl just realizes, I don't want to live this way. There's more to life than following the strict plan that the government has set up for me. So One United is where she lives, and it's a place where everybody's chipped. They have sensors implanted into their hands. They are scanned everywhere they go, so all their movements are monitored. It even goes so far as, some of the homes are bugged, that they can listen into people. They're told what schools to go to, what profession they can become, where they live, what job they have. It's a very controlled society. But she lives in a fairly comfortable home. She has a mother and father who absolutely adore her, so she's always thought it's this fairy tale life. So it's quite a harsh shock when her dad is murdered. And she has to go on her own and try to figure out, try to make sense of things and come to terms with the fact that she's not in this free utopian society. She's being controlled everywhere she turns.
That is scary. There,
Yeah.
there. I'm wondering, when you had this dream,
Hmm.
was it a complete? I mean, like you wrote the book, you started the book, you had the middle of the book, and you had the ending of the book. Was the dream complete from beginning to end?
The dream was like it was. I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. More of a feeling of living in that society, of living with so many restrictions. I mean, I just felt so suffocated. It was just horrible. It was such a suffocating feeling, and I thought, I got to break free of this. I have to break free of this. And so as I sat down, and one thing that I did that I had never done before when writing is I felt like the whole dream was there, like there was this whole story in my head, and I had to figure out how to get it out. And so I distracted myself with other things, like I watched TV or I listened to people speak. And I just let my fingers go, and I typed out all of the plot. And then it just came so easily, and the entire thing was there. And I was just blown away because everything just fit so well, and it was so perfect the way it fit into the story. And it's something I never would have written before, something I didn't know I was capable of coming up with. It's, a different genre for me and everything. I love suspense and that kind of thing, and this is very dystopian. So it's different on a lot of levels, but it was so intense. And there was so much of it in so much detail in my head that once I got it on paper, it was just there. It was beautiful.
And you ended up with 395 pages.
Yes. And 2 more books on the way. So
When I hear of things like this, excuse me, and having been there, done that, this isn't this. Here we're going to use this word again, Ryan.
all right.
This isn't what they call normal. I mean, we writers can sit down and there's times that it'll just flow like water, and
Mm-hmm.
you're almost afraid that any second it's going to be sealed up, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to lose it. But when something like this happens, and this is just my personal opinion, when something this massive takes place and it flows and you can't stop, I believe it comes from another source outside of ourselves. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, yeah, and I completely agree. This is not something I would have written by myself. There's too much to it that I didn't research for the novel. I didn't do anything like that. I just sat down and I wrote as the ideas just kept coming, and it just seemed to flow out of my fingers. I couldn't sit down and tell anybody what it was about because it just wasn't there verbally. It was all locked up inside me, and as I wrote, it just came out. And it was as amazing to me seeing it come out as anything. It was quite a neat experience. I've never written a novel that felt like this one did while I was writing it.
I was going to say, if you had to, or you were given the opportunity to, sit down and write something similar to this, 395 pages, it couldn't be done the way that one was done. And perhaps you'll never do another one like this, right?
Yeah, I really don't think that happens all the time. I know it doesn't because I've written so many other, several other novels, and they've never come that easily, come that strong to me.
When when you sit down and write, do you have a certain time that you sit down and write, or a certain place that you sit down and write?
I I have trouble sitting still, so as I write, I generally will start out sitting on the couch because I'm most comfortable just reclining with my laptop. A lot of times I'll end up sprawled across the floor and leaning against the couch or whatever. I shift like constantly, but I love to just write on the couch. That's my favorite place. When I took off for that week and had, just that writing retreat, I was actually just in a camper where nobody bothered me. I was very isolated, and that was incredible. And I could move around that camper any kind of way I wanted and just get comfortable and just be fully absorbed. I also like music when I write, but sometimes it takes a long time to find the right music that has the feeling that reflects what I know that book needs to portray.
When you wrote this book, and ladies and gentlemen, you can get it at Amazon.com, and the title of it is Indivisible by Ryan Hunter. When you wrote this book, as you were writing it, did you find yourself almost stop breathing, or I mean, you're so into it, and it's so into you that you're not conscious of yourself.
Yeah, a lot of times, as I was writing, and when I get really deep into it, I'll just lose focus of everything around me. It's like it doesn't exist. And all that exists is the story in front of me and just the way it flows from my fingers. I don't even consciously think about the direction the story goes. I'm able to put it on paper in a way that I could never, do verbally. It's a very neat experience. It's all consuming. Yeah. So I do totally lose track of everything around me.
How long did it take you to write it?
This book I actually wrote in just a few months, but the majority of that was written during that 1 week period when I went off on my writing retreat.
And the rest of it was editing and this and that,
right.
And all this other stuff.
Yeah.
When do you ever have recurring dreams? Dream the same dream twice or three times?
My dreams are different. Sometimes they'll center around the same idea, but they're different in the way the events happen. Generally different. A lot of my dreams are really disturbing and very, very vivid, where I wake up exhausted. I think that's hereditary too. My mom does that too. So
I was gonna ask you, is your husband a little bit fearful? No, I'm only kidding. I won't ask you that. But when the dream came to you at night, is that right?
Yeah, I woke up with a lot of the story in my head, and more so that feeling of being controlled, and then plotted it that entire day. And like I said, within a few hours, I had the whole, the major plot lines laid out. And then I went back in and I was just adding all these, little sub details and everything, which usually, is a struggle to come up with, make sure everything falls in the right area, make sure all your conflicts correspond with, whatever. But it just flowed out so easily. I mean, within a day, I had the whole novel and plots and subplots and everything ready to go.
So when you went to sleep that night, you had no inkling that you was going to write a novel down these lines or whatever.
No, none at all. In fact, I had been really busy. I had a business and some other things, and I had just decided to quit writing for a while. I had released my book, Premeditated, which is about a 17-year-old girl who's convicted of being a serial killer. And then did a little bit of marketing on that and kind of just let things go so I could focus on other stuff. And I thought, I'm just going to push the writing aside for a while. I just need to concentrate on other things. And then when I had that dream, I was like, okay, I'm not pushing the writing aside anymore because I will go crazy if I don't sit down and put this on paper.
I'm looking at some of the reviews. One customer said the story pulled me in, and I didn't want to put it down until I finished it. I love books like that. Someone else said this book contains great suspense and intense drama. Somebody else said, of course, over time, the balance between security and freedom tips without most people really realizing it. If there was ever an appropriate period of time for you to write something like this, I mean, it's relevant for today. Some of the things that's taking place in our society, in our government, and I know you said that you're not, excuse me, you're not a political person, but there's no doubt, and I'm going to get this book. In fact, you sent it to me, and I'm going to read it. Last week I couldn't read it because I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Right.
I'm going to read this thing, but apparently there's some issues in here that people will no doubt be familiar with as they read it. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Some of the issues, that are even addressed in there, I've had a little bit of personal experience with. One thing that's addressed in the book is Bryn's the main character, and she's always been told to be somewhat mediocre. Don't try to excel because then you attract the attention of the government. You want to kind of fly under the radar a little bit so you're not attracting more attention than is healthy, because they're watched. Anyway, so it was kind of this idea that you don't push yourself. You don't quite try to excel. You just fit in, and we've seen that in schools where they've actually tried to force our children to fit in and just kind of exist. And it really ticked me off. I was talking to one of the principals that my girls went to this elementary school, and they're both very intelligent little girls. And I said, I really want them to be challenged more. I want to see, they really are bored in class. And I'm wondering if there's any way we can help customize their learning just a little bit, or help them go to another class where they can be challenged. And the principal just looked at me and straight out said, at this elementary, we do not allow students to excel. Oh, I was furious. And we pulled them out. They've never been back to that school. I will never send them back to that school. I was pretty upset. But I do feel like education nowadays does not challenge children enough. I feel like it doesn't teach them to reach their potential. It's keeping them mediocre. It's teaching them to rely on other people for things, to be, to be dependent. And I don't like that. I don't think we should be a nation that's dependent on the government or dependent on other people. I think people need to be strong and pursue their own interests and learn who they really are and excel at it.
Go ahead.
Oh, anyway, and that's the biggest reason I pulled my kids out of there. I'm like, they're not going to be taught that. I want my children to know that it's okay for them to push the limits. It's okay for them to strive to be the very best they can at anything they want to do. So we pulled them out. We stuck them in another school. This new school they went to has been much better for them. My daughter, I think she was in first grade when we pulled her out of the elementary school, went straight into advanced orchestra in the new school because she was so ahead of her class. She was ahead of everybody her age. And they gave her that opportunity to take off and excel. And that's been exciting.
For years, and people sometimes look at me like I have two heads, which I might. I don't know. But
I don't know. I see your picture here, and it made me wonder.
Yeah. what happened was I got a haircut right after Christmas, and then I got sick. So I told my wife, I said, I kind of feel like Samson must have felt when when Delilah cut his hair. Uh, but anyways, for years, for years, there has been an agenda. There's been a movement. There's been an undercurrent in our country to dumb down America.
Mhm.
And years and years and years ago, when I was very, very young, we heard tell. Our teachers would tell us, and back then the teachers really taught, would tell us that if a country wants to overrun another country, if they reach the youth of that country and they're patient, eventually they'll take over another country.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I look around, and I've said this to so many guests that we've had on, I feel that young people do not have the ability to think for themselves anymore.
Right. And that scares me. I want my kids to be able to really use their brains. I want them to, reach their potential. And how do you do that when you're not taught how to, when you're discouraged from that? And I just feel like schools are discouraging so much right now, discouraging creativity, discouraging, that desire to excel. We've had several exchange students too in the last few years, and they've all said the same things. Just very disappointed in the school system here, how easy it is, how they're not being taught anything, and they're just bored to death at the schools here because they're not teaching people to grow. They're not teaching the students to really push themselves. And so I've been very disappointed with the schools. Not only that, but the level of intrusion on the students at schools is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I recently saw this article online about, I believe it was a school in Texas, and they outfitted all the kids with ID badges that have RFID chips in them. And everywhere they go in the school is monitored, sometimes a little bit even off campus or whatever. And so the schools can tell what the student's doing every minute of the day. And I thought, okay, I don't want my kid ever being monitored like that by a school. That's just, that's taking things too far. It's infringing on their privacy. It's infringing on everything. And in Indivisible, I've taken that just a step farther, where they're actually implanted with chips while they're infants. And parents who refuse to have their kids implanted, are punished by the government because it's mandatory. And they call it safety in Indivisible, and also in these schools that are implementing it. And I found out today, I read about a school in Colorado that's doing the same thing, or a whole school district there. And they have RFID chips. They're required to use them as they get on the bus. It keeps track of their money so that takes that money out of their account for bus passage, and then they use it when they go to lunch to pay for their meals. They use it to check out library books, everything. So everything they do every day is recorded on this device. And I think that's so intrusive, and that's how it is in Indivisible. Just a step further, everything they do there, they're implanted, but that they can't get away from it.
And it's so subtle the way they do it, isn't it?
It is. It's very subtle. And what's disturbing about it is they call it, security. We're just making sure your kids are safe. We want to make sure they're accounted for, that we know where they are. Yeah, but you're spying on them.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you had this dream that resulted in the writing of Indivisible, you actually felt. I suppose you heard the sounds. Did you hear the sounds and so on or so forth, or did they come later as you was pouring this out of you?
I felt the strong feeling and accompaniment with like words, almost like people were telling me what to think and how to think.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like internal dialogue saying, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to think this way. No, you can't do that because you are not good enough. No, you can't do that because it's not allowed. You must think this way. It was so distinct, the voices that kept echoing in my head. And, the only way I could describe it in Indivisible is they have been taught that from the time they've been little in school. Everywhere they go, they're taught that. No, you can't ask those questions because we don't do that in our society. We're, you're safe here, you're protected. We don't question other things. And so being taught from so little, of course you would have those voices echoing in your head all the time whenever you tried to make a decision or, make sense of something that didn't make sense in the world. You'd have those things, oh, no, but I can't ask about that because of this or that. And that's how it was in my dream, is those voices over and over in my head, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do this. And it was, oh, my gosh, like somebody had taken control, and it not a good thing.
What was your reaction when you woke up?
I was really bothered by it. I felt, like I said earlier, just suffocated, like just smothered. It was like somebody thought I couldn't think for myself, so they had to implant ideas, and I was kind of upset, But I realized at the same time it was a dream, so I was actually kind of excited about it at the same time, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so vivid, such strong feeling that I can put into the novel, and I get excited about things like that. It was just awesome. It's probably kind of hard to describe. Well, I guess one way I can describe it. Years ago, I went to see my uncle, and this is a true story. I pulled up in front of his house, and I'm just getting ready to get out of the car, and I'm on the phone with my husband, and this guy walks up and points a gun in the window.
Mm.
And I looked at him, and I'm like, hon, there's this guy pointing a gun at at me through the window. He's like, well, call the cops. I'm like, what a stupid kid. Doesn't he know I could just shoot him too? I'm like, what's he thinking? What is he possibly thinking, holding a gun at my window? And it didn't quite scare me at the time. Later, I really got all shaky. And I remember telling him on the phone right then, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a good experience to use in a novel one day. And I'm thinking, it's not really the right train of thought, but that's that's how my mind works. So when I woke up, and even though I felt so suffocated and everything after dreaming about this in the story in Indivisible, even though I felt suffocated and felt this overwhelming, like, oppression, just darkness, at the same time, I felt hope and this excitement, like, okay, I've been given something, and now I need to put this down and share it.
How have you been affected?
What's that?
How have you been affected by what you've written and the response of people, and what kind of reactions are you having now?
A lot of people have loved the book. I mean, everybody I talked to has really enjoyed reading it. A lot of people are telling me that it makes them think differently about freedom and how important freedom is and how easy it is to lose it. And it just gives them a new perspective on that. And it kind of strengthens their resolve to want to do something about it, to make sure we maintain our freedoms. And that's exciting to hear, because I love my freedom. I don't like when I'm restricted at all. I am a very spontaneous person. I like to do what I want to do, when I want to do it. And if somebody's going to tell me, no, you can't, that doesn't go over well with me. So I don't like to be controlled. I don't like to be told what to do. And it's scary, but, it's possible to get to that point. And so it's exciting when other people feel the same way, and when those feelings are so well received, that they say, this made me feel like I should appreciate our freedoms more. I've had so many people call me and say, or, message me and say, I read your book. It is absolutely scary because I can see our country going that direction.
Uh-huh.
And it's made me more aware of what is going on around us. Even though I never was really involved in politics, it wasn't anything that really caught my attention. I have found that I'm watching it closer now, especially when things deal with my kids, when it deals with schools or what my children may face. That's when I'm really aware of what's going on around me, and I think that's what's affected me the most. Is I am more aware of those things, and I actually will search them out on occasion to make sure. Okay, this and this and this they want to start implementing. Absolutely not, because my kids are not going to be subjective to that, and so I try to do something about it.
I know that I tell our listeners, and I tell people everywhere, if we could just get you to think all by yourself, number one, it would amaze you how efficient that brain is.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a miraculous piece of machinery. And number two, you'd find yourself getting some real spine and standing up straight. And you wouldn't have to bow to someone else that tells you what they think is good for you, and so on and so forth. But if we could just get people in our nation to think. Now, I said this earlier, and I can't say it the same way I said it then, but when something like this happens to an individual, no one on God's green earth will tell me that it's just happenstance or it was just a coincidence that you had this particular dream and you had to sit down, get away, and bang this thing out lest you just literally explode. No one will ever convince me that that is just something that happens regularly. I think, again, this is just my opinion, I believe that there are certain people that are used for certain things in a certain way that will bring about at least giving people a chance to open their eyes and open their minds and do what they have been put on this earth to do, and that is to become an individual, act like an individual, think like an individual, and do what they're supposed to do. I just don't believe that this occurs 3 times a week across this nation. Somehow, some way, and people will say, Espinal, you're just as goofy as the day is long. I know that. I still believe that when you had these dreams, and particularly this one, and you ended up writing this book, there was a purpose. We can call it a divine purpose, an inspirational purpose, whatever we want to call it. But there's something that's bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than them, that has enabled you to do this. And I tip my hat to you, Ryan.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way. I really don't feel like the story is all mine. I just feel like for some reason I had the opportunity to write it, and I'm grateful that I did, because it was a very powerful thing to write. It was a very good experience. And now I'm just, hoping that people are able to find out about it and be able to read it for themselves too and get the same emotion and same feelings from it.
Well, they can get the book. It's called Indivisible at Amazon.com. Paperback, Kindle version. And your other book, when was that one written?
Premeditated?
Mm-hmm.
That was written a few years ago, and it's more just for fun, suspense novel. And it's about a 17-year-old girl who confesses to murder. It's kind of interesting, and little, like I said, it's just more of a fun read, and it's gotten some pretty good reviews too. It's done pretty well, but nowhere near along the lines of Indivisible as far as the feeling put into it and the depth of the story. So,
Do you have many dreams?
I do. I have some pretty crazy, outrageous dreams sometimes, but a lot of them premeditated. I dreamt the very beginning of that story and woke up just gasping, going, "Oh my gosh, I just confessed to murder," and then made up the rest of the story from there. Thinking, "Oh, that would be a fun way to start something."
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. One of my other novels is written about a rape victim. And that was another story that just wouldn't leave me alone. It was just always there, and it was driving me crazy. I must have wrote that story 12 or 15 times before I finally got it how I felt like it should be. It was one of my first novels, and I wrote it under another name. But I finally finished it, and it's been out probably 10 years now. And I still get letters. 2 weeks ago, I got a letter from a lady saying, thank you for writing that story. It helped me. And I get letters from therapists, and I get letters from their patients, because mostly the book is sold by therapists for patients to read, because apparently it's helping people recover from rape and sexual abuse. And that one was another one similar, not as strong as Indivisible, but a similar idea as far as the story wouldn't leave me, and I had to write that one out too.
From the first time that you were bitten with the writing bug, did you ever, in your wildest imagination, ever think or ever come across your mind that it would be the way it is right now?
No, I didn't. I thought I would just be writing stories, just for fun. People would pick them up and read them, and yay, some good entertainment. I never thought I would write something that had, as much value as everybody's saying that Indivisible has. And that's exciting to me. It makes me feel like not only am I using that talent that I've been given, that gift I've been given to write, but I'm also creating something that could make a difference. And that's exciting. That makes me feel like I'm doing some good in the world,
Yes, that's and that's beyond the mediocrity that those people are talking about. We just want you to be a mediocre person.
Yeah.
I am intrigued. Ladies and gentlemen, get the book Indivisible at Amazon.com, paperback or Kindle version, and the other one is Premeditated. Is it in Kindle form too?
It's in Kindle. I don't have that one available paperback right now.
Okay, so it's in Kindle form also. Wow, so intriguing. What's on your agenda for the future?
I'm actually writing a follow-up from Indivisible, so it'll be book 2 in the One United series. And super excited about that. I'm about 6 chapters in. Hopefully we'll have it out, kind of late spring. And there's some fun developments in that. I'm excited to be able to... One of the biggest complaints I've had about the first one, about Indivisible, is that people didn't get as much background as they wanted on the government or the way things run.
Mm-hmm.
But it's written first person from Bryn's point of view. And so different things are revealed as Bryn understands them and learns them, just like it would, if any of us were experiencing that.
Mm-hmm.
But in book 2, she understands more, and so more of that government policy or that kind of stuff, that people want to know is going to be able to come out in book 2 much better. And so there's some neat developments going on there, some new characters to introduce, and I'm excited about that. It's going to be really fun. Really excited.
I can't wait to dive into it. It's just, excuse me. I'm an avid reader anyhow. I, my wife, of course, she is too. But I've always told people, I said, if I don't have anything else to read, I'll read the instructions on a roll of toilet paper. I just love to read, and things like these. This just intrigues me, and God only knows we need something like this to stir us and wake us up. Ryan, I thank you so very, very much for coming and being with us. I wish you all the luck in the world. And again, I will stand on my word. This is just not a happenstance or a coincidence. This has been designed. And again, I tip my hat to you. You've got another fan. I'll push your books. I'll announce your books. I'll put it on our website. We'll help you get it out there because I believe people need to read this and see it for themselves.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
And maybe someday soon you can come back and be with us again. Would you do that?
I would love to. I'm going to send you book 2 as soon as it's available.
All right.
And, we can talk about that one. That would be great.
All righty. I'll do that. And
all right.
I thank you so very, very much.
All right. Well, thank you.
Until then, God bless you.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Intriguing. I mean, it is that is just, it's amazing. Go to Amazon.com and just type up there in the little search box, Indivisible, and it'll come up, paperback or in the Kindle format. And you can type up there, Premeditated, and it will come up in the Kindle form. Get a copy of each one of them, and particularly Indivisible. I think there's a real message in there, and we need more men and women that will find out what their purpose is in life and follow that we might open our eyes, open our ears, and become individuals and use that God-given brain that we all have. I'll be back in just 30 seconds.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel foolish as a fool can be. Baby, I can't sleep at night, and I lost my appetite. Went to the doctor, but he don't know. It's getting bad, ain't funny no more. Tell me, baby, what I'm gonna do. I believe I'm in love with you. I believe I'm in love with you. Tell me, baby, that you love me too. I can't find it, baby, I decided I'm in love with you. I got a time I realize for you, baby, I got eyes. Come on, baby, and give me a chance. All I need is your romance. You're the one I was trying to find. Baby, baby, you're just my type. Tell you, baby, I'll be true. I believe I'm in love with you. I believe I'm in love with you. Tell me, baby, that you love me too. I can't find it, baby, I decided I'm in love with you. I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel foolish as a fool can be. Baby, I can't sleep at night, and I lost my appetite. Went to the doctor, but he don't know. It's getting bad, ain't funny no more. Tell me, baby, what I'm gonna do. I believe I'm in love with you. I believe I'm in love
Yeah. I did it again. I'm sitting here like this and never even hit the mic button. So if you got about, I don't know, 3 minutes 3 minutes of silence, I'm sitting here, with my whatever, and never hit the mic button again. I do it all the time. Listen, let's get out on the dance floor till I get myself together again, because my foot's itchy. I gotta scratch my big toe here. Johnny Reed gonna get it on. Can you feel it? I hope so. Johnny Reed, can you feel it? I sure did feel it. Ah, you go, Isaac. Isaac, he's one of the big top cheerleaders around here. Man, I got to scratch my big toe. That puppy was giving me problems. Only on radio, right? Listen, here's what I want to do. One more time. This is the last time I'm going to do this tonight. Please go to this website, CP Kelly. That's Kelly, Kelley, cpkelly.com. Many of you might remember that we had CP Kelly on here before Christmas, a country western singer. He has a disease. It's a cousin to MS. He's been stricken with it. He has a life's dream. Now, he just released his first single last month. I think it was the 15th of December. We had him on the 17th of December. So his dream is to finish his album. He needs $800 to go back into the studio and complete that album. And so his publicist, Jason Dowd, set up a Kickstarter fund. If you will go to CP Kelly, that's KELLEY.com, and scroll down, you will see one place that says, want to see CP Kelly perform live in your area? Demand him. Click on that, fill out the information. That's one thing. The other thing is the very thing that is below that, new fundraising campaign for Absolute Redemption CD. That's the title of it, Absolutely Redemption. It started on January the 8th. If you will click on that, it will take you over to another area, and then click on the large link. That will take you to CP Kelly, Absolute Redemption, full-length CD. That'll take you to the Kickstarter 2012-2013 now. And you will see a picture of CP Kelly. It'll say backers. Right now there's 0. Pledged of $800 goal, that is 0. We have 25 days to go to raise $800. Now here's the deal. If you donate money, use your credit card or your debit card or whatever, and we don't reach the $800, no money will be deducted from you. The only way that our money will be deducted from our credit card, our debit card, whatever means and ways that you use to do your donation, the only way is that if we reach that $800 mark. We can go above it. I would love to see us go above it, above the $800. $800 will get CP back into the studio to do the things that he needs to do to complete this CD. Plus, anything above and beyond that can go for his medical needs because there's tremendous expense to that. It'll help him go on tour where he could come to your area. The man can sing. Go back in the archives and look for the show around December 17th that'll mention C.P. Kelly. Go back and listen to it. He is a prince of a man. He is a genuine gentleman, and he is a great human being. Let's help C.P. Kelly reach his dream. He's reaching. He won't give up. He's got an illness, but he won't be sidetracked by it. And I read where his publicist said the only thing that could stop C.P. Kelly from completing this dream is that he would face death. And I believe he's going to beat this thing. And I believe we can help him. Listen, if a whole lot of us just gave a little bit, by the time we ended up, we could have a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? So if a whole lot of us each gave a little bit, by the time we're done, we'd have a whole bunch. And we could help this man fulfill his dream. Immediately after the show tonight, my wife and I are going to make our pledge. Please do that. Help this man. He has a vision. He has a goal. He has a dream. And he wants to fulfill that dream. Help them. cpkelly.com. cpkelly, that's Kelley, cpkelly.com. Help them meet that dream. And I know that you'll be glad that you did. And we'll keep you posted how things are going. We have 25 days left. And with that, get up, tap your feet, snap your fingers, bob your head, and shake your booty.
Lights on my face, getting stronger. The days go by so fast. I just try to make this moment last. It feels like I'm chasing. It feels like I'm chasing the sun. Yes, it does. The nighttime falls. Well, tomorrow I'll be on the run. Well, hey now, baby, my body's tired, but my mind's still young. Well, I got a fight to live that keeps me hanging on. It feels like I'm chasing. It feels like I'm chasing the sun. Yes, it does. The nighttime falls. Well, tomorrow I'll be on the run. Well, hey now, baby, ooh yeah. My hair's been turning gray. Oh, but that was yesterday. Well, I catch me one last breath, and I'll be on my way. It feels like I'm chasing. It feels like I'm chasing the sun. Yes, it does. Well, the nighttime falls. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be on the run. Well, hey now, baby, yeah, the nighttime falls. Well, tomorrow I'll be on the run. Well, hey now, baby, ooh yeah.
And there goes another one leaving the Funny Farm Airport. There's not as many that flies out as there is that flies in. Many people come, few leave. What do you think of that? We've had a delightful time tonight, but we're still not done. We're still not done. My goodness gracious sakes alive, Aunt Sally. I was going to say something, but like I always do, I can't remember what I was going to say. So, let me sit here just a second and think about what I was going to say, and maybe I'll remember what I was going to say. But that don't help me. Not one bit. I got it. Shh. I got it. Tomorrow night. You're gonna laugh. I know this lady's gonna make you laugh. Carrie Kendall, who is going to come and tell us all about, well, she's going to tell us all about the baggage of her second marriage. Excuse me. And a whole lot of things that goes with it. I think she'll make you laugh. Although I'm sure that there's going to be times she'll be very serious. But nonetheless, tune in tomorrow night for Carrie Kendall. Thursday night, be with me because there is an intriguing account or a story that's going to be told, a true story. 4 years ago, February 4th, 4 years ago, a family came up missing called the McStay family. I don't know if you remember or not. Look it up. And to this day, they have not been found. Did they vanish off the face of the earth? I mean, was they, like translated or just what happened? Foul play, whatever. A man by the name of Rick Baker out of North Carolina, who is a investigative journalist, a radio host, amongst other things, has researched this and followed it from the very beginning. He will have a brand new book out next month, February of 2013, that will commemorate the 4th anniversary of this strange disappearance. So tune in Thursday night. Rick Baker will be with us, and he'll be telling us the account, what happened, or how it happened. Some of the theories that are, what investigators are saying now, some of the sightings that have been supposedly reported, and so on and so forth. There'll be an intriguing evening to come and listen to Rick Baker as he tells this strange story of the McStay family that has just up and vanished. So tune in for that. We got a lot of great things planned for you this year, including we're going to be producing a brand new show. This show will still go on, but we're going to expand and produce a brand new show called Name, Rank, and Serial Number. And if you've been following us, you will know that it is a tribute to our military, to the men and women that's serving in our military. Name, rank, and serial number. Men and women that served in past conflicts, men and women that are serving today, our hats off to them. So we will be paying tribute to our troops in a brand new show called Name, Rank, and Serial Number. So pass the word on that. We were off the air for 2 weeks. 2 weeks and, a day or so? Whatever it was, but it was a long, long time. I encourage you to pass the word for us and tell friends, family, in-laws, outlaws that we are back on the air. We are live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the Spreaker Network. And we are back, and we are going to have a tremendous, tremendous year. Backed by popular demand is this.
Kick off the evening with a show that begins at 8, 7 Central Time, immediately followed by another show of a similar theme at 8:30, 7:30 Central Time. Then at 9, 8 Central Time is another show, followed by another one at 10, 9 Central Time. Then after your late local news, it's another one at 11:35, 10:35 Central Time, except if it's preceded by a golf or tennis update, in which time it will start at either 11:50, 10:50 Central Time, or 12:05, 11:05 Central Time, after which stay tuned for another show at either 12:37, 11:37 Central Time, 12:52, 11:52 Central Time, or 1:07, 12:07 Central Time, depending on whatever golf or tennis update was on 11:35, 10:35 Central Time. After that, stay tuned, whatever time it will air, for paid commercials, repeats of the 11 o'clock news, burned off syndication flops, bad movies, or a test pattern with an Indian head in the center of the screen. It's all right here at 8. 7 Central Time, unless something like the President of the United States of America has a televised press conference at 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern Time. In that case, just add anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to each of the times I have given you depending on the time zone that you are in. And in this extreme case that this may occur, California will slip into the sea. Your trash pickup will be a day late. Polar bears and penguins will swap poles. The Great Pumpkin will rise. Paris Hilton will be sent back to prison. Cork will finally be out on DVD. Nothing will stay only in Las Vegas. Oprah Winfrey explodes. People die from watching Rachel Ray. An oil company will declare bankruptcy. Jesus brings the pork chops. Harry Houdini escapes death. Dogs and cats will be living together in harmony. People finally figure out the obscure pop culture references to Veronica Mars. David Hasselhoff does a paid cheeseburger commercial on the floor. Doctor Who plays first base on a baseball team. Joan Rivers' face finally falls off. People will finally care about David Beckham. Barry Bonds' muscles deflate. And Walmart raises all of their prices. And it's all tonight at whatever time it will air, only on SATV. Oh yeah, and David Tenney marries Jessica Alba. Yeah, right.
Hey, this ought to get you moving. We'll play anything around here. We'll play Christmas music in July. We've done it. All righty then. Hey, real quick, Travis, roll out my yeah, roll out my magic mirror. Come on, roll it out here. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Okay, let me look into my magic mirror very quickly and let me see who I see. I see, oh my goodness, way up there in like southwest Pennsylvania, somewhere around McConnellsville. Is that McConnellsville do I see? Yeah, I see, Is it the Schroeders? I see the Schroeders. Yeah. Wave at me. I see you. I see you. You're coming in focus now. I see you. Okay. Let me see. Who else? Oh. Yeah, I see way over there in Parma, Italy. There's my friend, Graham Forster. My goodness. Let's see. It's 8 o'clock here. There's 6 hours difference, so that makes it 2 o'clock in the morning. And Graham, he's sitting there waving at me. Good to see you, buddy. I was out of it for a couple weeks here, and I didn't talk to too many people or anything like that. But I see him. Okay, Travis, take. No, there's my friend Ralphie. Ralphie. Yeah, Ralphie Luciano. He's over there. How you doing, Ralph? Okay, take this thing back and be very, very careful with it because it's brand new. You know what I'm saying? Take it. Well, such was that. It's been 2 weeks, and we have not, I repeat, we have not played my favorite song. But we are going to, right about now. The sandwich song.
We are at my favorite place where they make sandwiches as you order them. It's a sandwich song, sing along. Sandwiches for everyone. The hardest part of making it's deciding on ingredients. I wish I could make up my mind.
Yeah, hurry up, I'm hungry. Come on.
But they got white or wheat or rye or pumpernickel, whole wheat, half wheat, 12 grain or pumpernickel, Italian, French loaf, gluten-free, pumpernickel, crust off the sandwich. It's sandwich song, sing along. Sandwiches for everyone. The hardest part of making it's deciding on ingredients. I wish I could make up my mind.
Just order something.
But I want brown mustard, yellow mustard, ranch, oil, and vinegar, 2 kinds of mayonnaise, olives, and banana peppers, peanut butter, cucumbers, pickles, and Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, baby! Crust off the sandwich. It's sandwich song, sing along. Sandwiches for everyone. The hardest part of making it's deciding on ingredients. I wish I could make up my mind. Oh, look at all the cheese. I like Swiss cheese, provolone, pepper jack, American, mozzarella, sharp cheddar, gotta, have ricotta, string cheese. Yes, please, melt a little Gouda. Crust off the sandwich. It's sandwich song, sing along. Sandwiches for everyone. The hardest part of making it's deciding on ingredients. I wish I could make up my mind.
You know, you are really irritating.
Hey, what about meat?
I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, too bad. They got turkey, ham, meatballs, bologna, salami, roast beef, tuna fish, chicken, and pastrami. Bacon. And for people like you, try the teriyaki tofu. Crust off the sandwich. It's a sandwich song, sing along. Sandwiches for everyone. The hardest part of making it's deciding on ingredients. I wish I could make up my mind.
Hey, did you bring any money?
I got 50 cents.
Let's go get a gas station corn dog.
Okay.
sure hope dude gets to feeling better. You know, I can almost relate to him because that's about what I sounded like last week up until Saturday. Thank the good Lord, I'm feeling pretty good now though, especially since we're back on the air. All right, another one, another night, another show done. I want to thank Ryan Hunter for coming and being with us tonight. Go to Amazon.com. Type in up there, Invisible. Get that book. Paperback or in the Kindle format by Ryan Hunter, Invisible. Take time to read it. Think about it. It'll open up your eyes. Go to cpkelly.com. cpkelly.com. That's Kelly with an EY. cpkelly.com. Get in there and, you know, the minimum that the fundraiser will take is $1. That's fine. $1. You know what? If a whole lot of us gives $1, we're going to meet our goal. If 800 of us gives $1, we'll meet our goal. And it doesn't hurt anybody. But it sure will pick up the spirits of C.P. Kelly. And we'll be able to help him accomplish his dream. There's a whole lot of love coming to you from the Funny Farm and to all my friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world. I want to thank you one more time for tuning in tonight. Make sure you come back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, same station, right here on the Spreaker Network. Come and listen to the George Espinlove Show live from the Funny Farm with all the gang that's right here with me. Wherever you're at, whatever you're going through, we want you to know we care about you. Drop us a line, georgece@comcast.net. That's georgece@comcast.net. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your in-laws, tell your outlaws, tell everybody that the George Espinlove Show airs Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Help us. Help us continue on. And I know, together, we will have fun. Wherever you're at, if it's nighttime, have a good night. If it's already tomorrow, have a good day. But wherever you're at, whatever you might be doing, until tomorrow night, this is George Espinlove saying good night and God bless you.